Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Hey everybody, you're about to listen to a brand new episode of Everything Life and Real Estate. Before we get started, we wanted to make sure that you knew about our brand new website, everythinglifeandrealestate.com, where we're super excited to share that what you asked for, we were able to answer. We now have a new tab at the top of our website that says merch. We encourage you to go there and check out all of the new merchandise that we have for sale on our website. We would love to see your pictures and what you guys end up buying and doing with the merchandise, so make sure that you tag us. Thanks so much for listening and enjoy this episode.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Well, hey, Dana, we are in week, I don't know what, of COVID-19. We were just talking about how
I have no clue.
Huh?
I have no clue what week it is, honestly. I've lost track.
I mean, are we like 9 or 10 weeks in? I don't know. It's like all a blur.
Yeah, I think it's 10. It's got to be. Yeah.
Well, and then for the craziest thing for you to decide to give up sugar for a week. Are you nuts?
I know.
It gets me through these days.
It was sugar or my little Tito's that I like to have every other night or so. So I was like, no, I'll go with the chocolate.
I gotcha. Well, it's actually funny I say that. I'm actually teasing because I, of all people, decided to do 3 36-hour fasts last week. Because I thought, okay, Linda, you can either give into bonbons, oatmeal cream pies, all that stuff, but I've kind of been running a lot. So I thought, you know what, why don't I try to take my health and my fitness to a next level? I mean, You can do whatever you choose to do with this time, right? Yeah. And I thought, Linda, you can either choose to just give into it and just, say this is crazy and I'm just going to eat what I want to eat and feel horrible and all that stuff. I thought I'm going to really try to up it since I'm up in my running. I'm feeling pretty good.
Are you running outside or on the treadmill?
Running at both. I do both. I have a girlfriend that we social distance, but she says we've been social distancing for 20 years because I run faster than her. But you're going to have to ask the governor to give us a pass because we can't hear each other 6 feet apart. It's just the hearing's not that good to do that. So, but anyway, so her and I've been running. She's our banker's wife and we were neighbors for years. So we've been running for probably, I don't know, maybe 20 years.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So we run outside probably about 3 days a week. And then 2 days a week, I do my Peloton so that I can do an interval or hit thing on that. So I went back through all my notes and I thought, okay, what is the thing I could do that would up my intermittent fasting that would, really, really help. So I went back to all my notes and realized that I had not really done what my intermittent fasting coach had told me to do last time. And I have another call coming up with her, and there's nothing like having a coach and your calls due and you go back through your notes and go, what did I promise I would do? Or what did she tell me to do? So she told me to try 3 36-hour fast in a week to kind of reset my, your body kind of likes to have a certain body weight. So I had back in, I don't even know, maybe it was November. That was my last call with her because I get 8 calls and you can schedule them whenever. Mm-hmm. So I went to Israel. I had the holidays. I did a family Christmas trip to Branson. I mean, none of those really kind of lended to me doing 36-hour fast. So I thought, okay, I've got the time now. I can do it. And really, it's not been that bad. Today's a rough because I'm in a second week and I'm doing 3 this week. But today's a little rough just because I came off the weekend from eating. But it's not that bad. I have little rough spots. But overall, I feel good because I'm not putting a bunch of crap in my body. So
no broth or anything.
No broth. I do clean fast, which is black coffee, Pellegrino with no flavoring, and just pure water.
See, I don't do coffee, so that would be.
You do green tea, but I'm not a big tea person.
Oh, I like tea, so that might work. Yeah.
Or you can do just an unsweet tea. Mm-hmm. They say green tea is good, but I just don't. I don't mind. I don't mind. I can drink black coffee pretty much all day.
But then, will you sleep at night?
Yeah, as long as I don't go like too late in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, so, I mean, we're all just getting through this the best way we can. And, people are doing crazy things out there. They're fighting over each other because they don't have masks on and all kinds of stuff. So I'm just choosing, even though Texas is actually loosening up, I'm still choosing to stay home mostly.
Yeah, we mostly have to. I mean, we've gone.
Are y'all loosening up at all your state or no?
Yeah, so well, I've been in Charleston still. I'm actually I'm gonna go back to Kentucky for a couple of days this week, but um Kentucky has not. South Carolina has loosened up a little bit. And but we haven't been like to eat at any, we haven't been outside to eat or anything like that. They just started that. They finally opened the beaches back up today. But they opened like small businesses and like all the little shops are back opened up on limited hours and stuff like that. But we haven't really been anywhere. Just kind of same thing. We've been riding our bikes a ton. So we've been riding bikes and looking at all the pretty houses and stuff, trying to just get outside after, being on Zooms and all that stuff during the day. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. Other than I've been to Target twice and the grocery once a week, but that's really about it. I'm just dying for the nail place. I'm like, when will the nail places open back up?
Well, our nail places actually did open. Our hair places opened and our nails. So I was real happy. I ran to the hair place, but I haven't been back to the nail place yet. I had cut them short. So I'm like, I'm not going there yet.
That's the one I said the three things and you'll relate to this, I'm looking most forward to are, I want to go back to church. I'm thankful that we watched it on TV, but I'm ready to go back to church. I want to go to the nail place and I want to go eat inside a Mexican restaurant. Other than that, like I'm pretty much good on everything else.
Yeah, did I send you that Melissa?
Yes.
Where she's leaving her husband in the car because she got word that the Mexican food places are open. I laughed at that. And then I realized I just did that because one of our Mexican food places opened up and you got to eat outside. And I told Jimmy to go see if they had any room outside. He went in by the time he got back in the car, I'm out of the car running to the door because I see other people going to get there and I'm afraid they're going to get the only tables outside. So I thought that was me. That Melissa McCarthy was me.
That's the best one.
That was so good. All right. So part of what we've had to do being quarantined is all these Zooms, and which I realized I don't have very many trainings in the last couple of weeks, and I'm missing education and training. I somehow need to feel like I'm progressing in some area. But a few weeks ago, you and I were in 3 masterminds of top 200 agents in the company, top leadership, and we got some great notes. So we thought it would be kind of fun to share those today. So if you want to kick us off, Dana, what are some of the highlights you got from those masterminds? They were all very good.
They were incredible. And honestly, I got a fresh legal pad right before that. And I swear I filled up half of the legal pad. And I'm teaching a Zoom on Wednesday of this week to a couple of offices, to their top 20% agents, just to go over all this, because there was just so much good stuff. So a couple of ones that really stuck out to me was, oh gosh, I don't even know where to start. Actually, probably this one. He said, difficult times require difficult decisions. I don't remember who said this on there. It could have been Gary, but I don't remember. And the only way to predict the future is to shape it. And so he said, you can't get bogged down in having a great year. You have to think about having a great career. And so in order to do that, we right now think about reinvention. And this was probably one of my favorite things that he said. What sabotages reinvention is the attachment that we have to the way that things were or they used to be.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. Well, what he said was, what keeps you from, what was the word he used even? It was so powerful, is your attachment to how the things were.
Yeah. Sabotage?
What sabotages?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. That was.
What sabotages you, and it sabotages your ability to actually reinvent yourself or reinvent your business, because you're so attached to, this is how we used to do it, and this is what worked, and this is the way that it was. And I get stuck in that a little bit too. I mean, I'm not gonna fib and tell you that that's not, because I've caught myself a couple of times, saying, now some of it's been positive. Like this morning, I had a meeting with my real estate team. And one of the big takeaways I got from all these people also was the ones that shared. We had people who had netted 2 million last year, net 2 million on their real estate team, like Sarah Reynolds and her mom, for example. And one of the things I found interesting that all they said was and I don't know why I didn't think about this, but that they've gone back to a ton of direct mail. They've cut their billboards and they've cut their radio and their TV and all that. They've gone back to direct mail because everybody's at home.
Oh, and I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the mailbox, and over the last 5 years, I haven't gone to the mailbox any. Matter of fact, Jimmy will pull up the mailbox and he'll say, "You want to grab the mail?" And I'll say, "No, my sister will get it," because my sister comes every day to our house. And I'm like, no, she'll get it. Cause I hate getting the mail every day since this COVID thing. I go to the mailbox because I want to see what's in the mailbox, and there's not that much.
Yeah. And honestly, I was thinking about this, Linda, this morning when I was on a Zoom with our team. And I said, if I really think back, when I got the most referral business, I was doing so much direct mail. I mean, a lot of direct mail. So like we have personally, actually we have all of our new campaigns starting this week. We've switched like everything back to direct mail. But I was thinking about that because some of the things when we look back and say we were attached to that, or we were attached to the way it was or whatever, some of those things we used to do a long time ago that maybe we got away from are good things that could help us again. But if we're totally in the mindset of thinking, gosh, it's never going to be the same again, we're never going to be able to go back to, how it was, which is what we're hearing, that's going to sabotage our ability to move forward and reinvent in a big way. And I thought, man, that really hit home for me.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And, what was interesting is the top agents, some of their things were, some of them are actually having really great months right now because they're leaning into what's going on. They're not pulling away from it. They're actually leaning into it and getting very dollar productive. They're making calls. They're talking to their database.
Yep.
They're just really leaning into this.
Yep.
This can feel kind of restrictive because we're stuck and we can't go anywhere and all that stuff. And one of the things that he said was pretty powerful is freedom is on the other side of fear. Mm-hmm. So if we can just, really go, okay, yes, we're all going to be a little afraid. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know if it's going to come back in the fall. But the truth is, if we can get past that fear and just get into activity, that's where our freedom is going to come from through this.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote that down. I loved that one too. I thought it was interesting. I think, we got to hear an interview with Keith Cunningham, and I love him anyway. The Road Less Stupid is one of my very favorite books, and I just started. I'm only like 3 chapters in. Keys to the Vault. Have you read that one?
No, I have that on my list to make sure I get. Why don't you tell everybody, in case they don't know, who Keith Cunningham is?
Yeah, so Keith is an author and has been around, I guess, for forever. And it seems like Gary and he have known each other for a while too, which I didn't really know that. But he wrote The Road Less Stupid, Keys to the Vault. Didn't he have another big?
Well, even before that, Robert Kiyosaki's book where he talks about Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
That's right.
Actually, I don't know if he was the rich dad actually.
Yeah, he was the example that they talked. That's right. Yeah, that's right. So, and I just think I've watched his YouTubes and stuff, and I just think he's so intelligent, but he's also just very kind of voice of reason. I don't know, but he talked a lot about the first part was kind of about the money stuff, just cash is king right now. A dollar saved is a dollar earned. But I loved that he gave the analogy of the emergency room. Did you have that on yours?
Yes. Yeah. Tell him about that.
Yeah. Okay. I loved how he gave the analogy of the emergency room. So he said right now, as a real estate agent, we kind of have to think, or even just honestly, as a business owner, we have to think of our business right now like they think in the emergency room. And there's 5 things that they do in an emergency room in a situation. The first one, number 1, is extreme focus and intensity. And so he said that they're obviously when a trauma patient comes in, they're extremely focused. They're very intense. Their job is on saving this person's life, right? So we have to have extreme focus and intensity. Number 2 was constant monitoring of vital signs. And anytime someone comes into the ER, they're monitoring their vital signs every minute, it seems like. And so he said, think about that with your business. And even today, one of the on the 3 coaching calls that I had today, every single one of them brought up looking at trends last month over April of last year, and how much was listings taken down or up, how much were contracts written down or up. And so as an agent, that's something that we look at too. So that's kind of like an example of monitoring your vital signs. Number 3 was communication constantly. Obviously, in an ER, in a situation, they're communicating, the doctors and the nurses and everybody are communicating constantly, which is what we have to do as agents. Because remember, our clients, they don't know if COVID-19 has made their house worth more or worth less, or our house is selling, are they not selling? So overly communicating. And I loved it. Remember when Gene Rivers, I think it was Gene Rivers, did a Zoom with us, I don't know, it's been a few weeks ago, And he said, if you're an agent and you aren't sending something every single week to your database that says your weekly COVID-19 real estate update,
Yes.
you're missing the boat, because they need to be communicated with. Then number 4 was massive flexibility to changing conditions. So in the ER, they have to be flexible to change. You might be headed to the OR one second, and then something might change, and then you're looking at a specialist that's coming to see you or whatever. And so he said, we have to do the same thing. We have to be flexible to make changes. And a lot of people have already done that as far as like going virtually. That's kind of what I thought of, because I mean, we whipped our entire business virtually within like 7 days. Which is kind of crazy. And then number 5, the last one, was speed of response matters. And so obviously in a trauma situation in the emergency room, how quickly they get to something that matters, of whether someone's going to live or die. And he said it's the same thing with us right now, and business owners and real estate agents. Our speed of response matters. We can't just put our head in the sand and pretend like we're doing business the same way that we always have been. We have to be quick to responding to change and to communicate, and our vital signs and all this stuff. And that was just, I thought that was a great analogy. It was a lot of eye-opening things for me.
Yeah, and one that I had written down that tied into what you talked about with the numbers and everything is, Gary said the sports page is the most honest part of the newspaper, because it's based on facts and stats, and they don't lie. So that's the thing that we have to really, as agents, get better at, because I think it's real easy to just go out there and, try to do the appointments and not pay attention. I remember for the McKissick group for like over 10 years, we had a huge whiteboard, and we still have it there. And we knew for the past like almost 10 years, that month, 5 years ago, what did we do in listings?
Oh, I love that.
Commission. And we just kept that whiteboard in front of us, because it really tells you what way things are trending. And it really is a great way to keep a handle on stuff that I think we would stick our head in the sand and not pay attention to if we didn't have it right in front of us.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, we have the multi-year trends now that we can pull that up, but I wish I would have had that all the previous years. So that's a really great one. Gosh, what else? I mean, I'm just looking through. I had so many different ones.
One thing is top agents, especially people that have teams right now, it's real easy if you're a leader to think your job is to manage people right now. And really your job is not to manage people. It's to have self-managed people that will be flexible and will figure out how to go ahead and do deals in all of this.
Yep.
I think it can really, if you're leading people right now, it can really suck your energy if you're having to try to prop those people up and get them to want more. What you really need is the kind of people that when they see things shifting, they shift also, because what's not shiftable for them is their goals and their priorities of what they want and what they want to accomplish.
Yeah, that was a big one, honestly, for me, because it can feel a lot of times like you're just pulling the people that you lead uphill. Yeah, that was a big one. One thing that I liked that he talked about was shifting our priorities. And in the past, we just were trying to be as strategic as we possibly could. And he said, now we need to shift our priorities from being strategic to actually like surviving and stabilizing. And, it's interesting because I brought this up on a coaching call today. You hear so many different perspectives. I mean, you hear NAR say they think the real estate industry is only going to drop by 12%. You hear other really smart people say they think it's going to be cut in half. You hear some people say they think it's going to go down to 80%. And so it's hard to really know, what exactly will happen. However, I think to not shift your thinking to surviving and stabilizing and to not be prepared is a huge mistake. Because, I mean, why would you not? But the crazy thing, Linda, is I've talked to several people who they're just kind of doing business the way that they used to do business and not making any changes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a little worrisome. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I think is happening is because it is kind of boring, because we're not allowed to go anywhere. We're kind of stuck in the same routine. And I know for me, I struggle with that. If something is just kind of monotonous and I can't have variety, I really struggle. And one of the main points that he made is that we have to make peace with the boredom of focus. Mm-hmm. And I think because we're not able to be active, it's making that come to the limelight even more, that we're going to have to figure out a new way to get focused on what matters, the connection with people. making progress in a time that it feels like everybody's going backwards. And I know for me, one of the things I did recently is I looked at a company that would help me be able to make more calls, and they would help set up the appointments. Because when I really examined what was keeping me from being as productive during this time, is that I, I had just had a really good system, and all of a sudden this came along and it kind of disrupted me a little bit.
Yep.
So I checked into a company that will actually help set the appointments, because I'm the kind of person, if I've got something to do, I'll do the commitment I have to do.
Right.
But it's getting lost in, who do I want to talk to this week, and how do I get their numbers and do all that stuff. Same thing, struggles I had with in my real estate business. So I looked at this company, and I was helping him on something, and I thought, well, why don't I let him help me too? And so he, having those set up for me so that I don't have any thought or anything to get in my way, I can just do the boredom of focus, because it's that boredom of focus that we get tired of, but it's yet that narrow focus that makes us have the most success.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, I love that. That's so
what
true.
our life is.
Yeah, we all, yeah. I think everybody's guilty of that. That actually kind of goes with one of the stories, and I had kind of forgotten about this. I mean, I didn't forget about it, but when he said it, I remembered. But when he was talking about, he used the example of the boys and their coach who got trapped in that cave in China.
Oh, yes, the soccer team.
Soccer team, yeah. And he said, I can't remember total, they were trapped in there. I want to say 9 days. Do you remember? I think it was 9 days. But he said that after the 9th day, that when they were rescued, they had 1.5 peanut butter sandwiches left.
And they have like 3. How many they have?
How many guys?
How many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches did they have originally?
I think he said they had 3 or 4. Yeah. Something it was a small number, but when they were rescued, they had 1.5 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches left. And Keith said that the purpose of that is to think about right now, you have to stretch what you do have for as long as you can, because you don't really know. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen or what it's going to end. Just like when they were in that cave, they didn't know when they were going to get rescued or how many days they were going to be in there or not. And so they had to stretch what they had. And so, you always say that people don't do what you tell them to do. They do what they self-discover, and they do that through questions, experiences, or stories. And so some of these stories were, to me, like the best part and the biggest takeaways that I had, because I think when you think about it like that, then you can much more easily relate it to your own business. And it just made me think, dang, we got to stretch what we have right now.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
That was a great story. I love that. I think too, what's hard for us to right now during COVID is we have to be thinking disruptive, not what's worked in the past organically for us. And I think that's hard for a lot of people to say, how in the world can I actually disrupt right now in a time when it feels like you should just be hanging on to what you already know how to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was, just like some actual action items that I loved from some of the top agents that shared. A lot of them brought up YouTube again, that they're really getting serious about YouTube, because people think that the SEO and the search, the way people search YouTube could actually produce more than Zillow by the time this is all said and done, because people want to watch the videos of the home tours and stuff. But every one of those agents said that they instantly got into videos, like way even more than what they were already doing. I loved I don't remember which one of them said this, but they did a COVID-19 seller protection plan where they had every one of their listings pre-inspected first, and basically said like, hey, this house is ready to go. Here's a video. It's already had a home inspection done on it. That here's the items that have already been repaired or are going to be repaired. And this is a COVID-19 like pre ready to go, whatever, seller protection plan listing. And they were getting listings from that. I think one of the things me and you already talked about that I loved, though, was they were focusing on vacant properties, because those are FSBOs and expireds of vacant properties, because those are easy when people aren't in them, right? So it's easier to show those. The biggest thing was, man, every one of those agents that talked said that their number one thing still to this day is database, and that all they've been doing is upping their touch. Not a one of them had less than a 44 touch plan per year for their people. which, you know, a lot of people, myself included, had struggled to have just 33 touches. But I mean, some of them like 77, 79 touches a year for their people, which was incredible to me. And I thought it was cool just to hear the ways they've given back during this time. And then they ended up, their business has grown because of it. Like a lot of them had changed and they were associating their deals done during COVID-19 to certain charities, which was super cool. What else? One of them did that scavenger hunt. I like to just hear like tactical things that they've done that have worked.
You know, and I think the bottom line of this, Dana, is activity breeds activity.
Totally.
You know, and I think we all feel better when we're actually active and moving forward or moving towards something. That sometimes we get stuck in, it's got to be perfect, or there is no perfect. You know, it's just what I heard from all the top agents that were still doing really, really well is they're just not, they're actually kind of having fun getting creative on what
they're
all
doing something.
They're doing something, and they're having fun on creative ways to touch their people and stay in communication with their people. Yep. You know, you lose your customers or your team members when you're disconnected from them. You're never going to lose those people when you're connected from them.
Yep.
And I think that's the key thing. You know, nobody's sitting around thinking, you know, I haven't heard from my realtor in 2 years. They're not thinking that. They're just happy to hear from you. So again, I think, you know, there's no magical thing you could be doing right now. I think that a couple of things. One is stay connected to learning events and classes so that you can hear what other people are doing. I mean, I did probably 3 or 4 Zooms recently where I interviewed some top agents, and I did an interview with other people. And those are all on file where agents can actually go plug in and get those. You need to be plugging into those, because here's what I find. If I kind of get in a slump through this, if I'll just plug in some kind of video and I hear other people talking about what they're doing, it just fires me up to go do something. And I think that's what we have to do, is we have to stay connected with people who are productive and who are getting results right now, because if they can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah, well, that was the biggest thing, Linda. That's what he said. He said, look around. Other people are busy during this time. And then that's because they're doing that. Because, where did I write down? He said, because the 6, no matter what, the six things are always still going to happen that make people buy or sell real estate. Somebody's born, somebody dies, somebody gets a new job, somebody loses a job, somebody gets married, or somebody gets divorced. And all of those things usually have someone either buy or sell a home or both.
Yeah.
And so we have to get creative around finding, you know, who those people are and how we can touch them. You know, another story that I thought was so good was when Gary talked about his car wash, which I didn't even know that Gary Keller owned a car wash in Austin, Texas. But he said that he was, obviously they had to shut down. And so then when they were opening back up, I can't remember what they were doing. He said they offered free car washes, but tips only for the workers.
Just to keep the people employed. Yeah.
Just to keep the people employed. And I thought that was so good, because it was just a different way of thinking. I mean, he got creative and he had to reinvent something. Yeah. And I was like, man, that is so good if we just all could think like that.
Yeah, so true. That is absolutely so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. And we're kind of out of time now. So is there any final thoughts or anything that really stands out that you're going to regret you didn't share with everybody before we hang up, Dana?
I don't know. Let me think. I loved these last 2. Somebody said hope is not a strategy. And so you got to have a strategy. And then the other one was when I think maybe Keith talked about this. Recession is just another name for exposure. It exposes everything, the way you think, your health, your relationships, your models, your actions. It exposes people. It exposes your money. It exposes everything. And so just thinking about what is it exposing for you? And then what action steps do you need to take around that?
Boy, that's so true. You know, and we're coming out of the longest up cycle in real estate we've ever seen. Yep. So for me, my concern with a lot of our agents is that if you haven't learned how to lead generate your business and you just kind of had stuff fall in your lap, which is what happens in a you know, a seller's market or a real uptick in our marketplace, that's where it's going to be tough. I almost think it's better when you start real estate in a down market, because you're forced to learn how to lead generate, call on people, do those kind of things. And so I love that. It does expose you. And so what you don't want to do is be exposed to the fact that I don't know what to do when the business is not falling in my lap, you
Yeah.
know? And if you're in that space, then go watch a video, go listen to some of the, the classes on Connect that people are telling you exactly what they're doing right now, and just go try a few of the things that they're doing.
Yeah.
Because activity breeds activity, and there's a lot of great ideas of people who are actually having great months in their real estate business right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, great times to be plugging into education and learning, and just reaching out to people. Don't be isolated during this time, because creative ideas are out there. You just got to connect with the people who are doing the activities to have them.
Yep. Speaking of moving into motion really fast and activities, for those who maybe didn't catch last week's episode, or they're listening to this one first, we got into action with some new cool t-shirts. So everybody needs to go check out our t-shirts on our website, everythinglifeandrealestate.com. And hopefully there'll be some cool t-shirts you guys will like that can get you in a good headspace when you look at them. We've gotten great feedback. We've already sold several.
Oh, I love them. I love mine. Thank you. My package came last week. I was super excited to get them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, love them. So thank you. And remember, if you have a question or a comment, or you're struggling with something through COVID-19 that you'd like for Dana and I to help you with, reach out to us at info@everythinglifeandrealestate. If you'd like to be a guest on our podcast and have Dana and I help you with a challenge or a situation in your particular business, then be sure and submit your name to us at info@everythinglifeandrealestate with a brief description of what you'd like to talk about, what your challenge is. And remember, the more detail you give us about you and your business, the more we're going to be able to help. And I just want to say it, stay safe, stay healthy out there, and thanks for joining us today. And Dana, I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.